Kathy, I've seen you around the horse business at these sales for a little while now. What do you do in the horse business besides look pretty?
Ah, thank you. I work for Eugenio Columbo. I represent him here in Lexington.
What do you do, bloodstock with them?
Well, no, I do more public relations work, handle his clients when they're here in town, and take care of things, keep him organized during the sales.
You know, he's lucky to have you. I know you know horse racing very well. Who should the horse of the year be?
Devil's Bag.
Why? Why do you like him so much?
Oh, because he's fast. He's going to be another Secretariat. I really like, I love Sonny's Halo and the Derby, and I think that's a great family. And
well, Halo seems to be the man this year, and maybe Devil's Bag is the best of all of them. Who's the greatest horse of all time?
Oh, gosh. Terrible question. The greatest racehorse of all time in my day has been Secretariat, of course. The greatest racehorse I've ever seen. I'm really fond of Seattle Slew as the sire, of course. He's doing great things.
Well, that's the answer we were looking for. At least you're definite enough. Devil's Bag, Secretariat, and Seattle Slew. Thank you for stopping by. Pat, you've started something new. You've got dog syndication. Tell us a little about this fantastic stud dog.
This is Murphy. He's a Shar-Pei. He's 4.5 months old. And we syndicated Murphy. I sold 10 shares. We
How much per share?
$250.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. The Shar-Pei breed is very rare. There are 2,800 in the world. And a plea was sent out in 1972 to save the breed. There were only 12 left. And I got interested in them through Delta Magazine flight article.
Who's this other one over here that I've got on the other end?
This is Bally. She is a Labrador Retriever puppy that came from England. Come here, Bally.
Stealing the show.
The syndicate agreement for Murphy was drawn up patterned after the syndicate agreement for Secretariat.
Well, then I'll be able to ask you an easy question. Who's the greatest horse of all time?
Secretariat.
Well, that's a good answer. Tell me, who do you think will be horse of the year this year? Who do you like?
All along. But I'm prejudiced. I like girls.
Well, that's a good enough answer, and good luck with Murph.
Thank you.
Gino, these horse prices are tremendous. You think they'll keep going like this through the 80s?
Well, it's difficult to say because I'm not an economist, I'm an horseman. Probably we still have the same trend for the bests. And the answer is the evolution of the world of racing. We need more tracks in America, and I'm believing on telecasting racing worldwide to increase the wagering on racing. So to support this market with market with overproduction, we need more tracks.
Well, I guess if we can have more racing, we can have more money for horses.
Yeah, we need racing in Texas. That is the best thing for America.
That sounds good to me. Who's the best horse this year? Who's going to be horse of the year?
In my opinion, Devil's Bag is the most impressive horses I saw this year in America.
Well, that opinion is shared by others also. Who's the greatest horse of all time?
Well, it's very difficult because we got to compare on the past 40 years between Europe and America. Let's say it's probably the best horses, in my opinion. I don't know Man of War, of course, but the most impressive horse I saw in America, it was a Seattle Slew. I think Seattle Slew is even better than Secretariat myself. In Europe, is no doubt the best horses is a Ribot.
Well, that's a pretty definitive answer, and we appreciate you stopping by.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, the sales have been sensational in the early 1980s. Do you think this can go on all the way through the 1980s?
Well, I would look, I think the whole history of the market, that the top has never really been affected. The middle of the market, I think, was definitely affected when we had the high interest rates. When they hit 20%, it made it difficult for the man to take money out of the business and to go borrow to buy horses. The biggest danger I see, one, I think the top of the market is here, and I think it will stay. The good horse in the middle market, there will always be a home for, but I think there might be a tremendous fallout of the lesser pedigree, and very definitely with the individual. I think the individual in the last 4 or 5 years has made it much tougher to buy. I can remember the years when you put a yearling into a sale, the man didn't really look at the physical horse, he looked at the paper. Now I think they're doing both, and the good horse, the good physical horse will remain in demand. The top quality sire and mare will remain in demand, and I think it's going to be very, very tough at the bottom.
John, you've got prospective foal insurance on 2 mares in foal to Northern Dancer. Tell us a little about what people are in for when they go for that kind of deal.
Prospective foal insurance is very expensive, but of course, when you're looking at mares that are in foal to Northern Dancer, in light of a $10.2 million summer sale yearling, they want some guarantees, especially if these purchasers are going to pay, I think, what the consigners want. Prospective foal insurance on these 2 mares is $1 million on each one. Requires many different certificates for manual examinations and for ultrasound examinations. It's very expensive, but $1 million guarantee that this mare will have a single live Northern Dancer is quite important to the purchasers.
What was the number on each policy? You got $1 million on each. What's the number for $1 million of prospective foal?
Prospective foal insurance normally is about 17% of sum insured.
Well, that's a decent tab, $170,000 a policy. On a lighter subject, who's going to be the horse of the year?
Well, I lean very strongly to All Along if she does what most people anticipate her doing in the International, depending on how soft the going is.
Duncan, you sold a hellacious Riverman colt down at Keeneland for $2.5 million, that yearling. Why do you think he brought so much money?
I think it was strictly 2 things, pedigree and confirmation. He was one of the best individuals in the sale, and I think that that's become more and more dominant in the sales ring, is how much confirmation the yearling has.
Well, he certainly was a beautiful yearling. This year there's a lot of action as to who's going to be horse of the year. It seems to be between All Along, Devil's Bag, and Slew of Gold. You got any ideas who you think the horse of the year should be?
Well, I think that's a pretty tough question, but I think that right now Devil's Bag has a bruised hoof, and I think that if that stops him from racing anymore, I think it'll go to Slew of Gold. But I think if he could come on and win 2 or 3 impressive races in a row between now and the end of the year, I think that he'd be horse of the year.
Well, even a harder question, who do you think the greatest horse of all time is?
Well, that is a tough question. I think currently, the best racehorse I've seen since I've been alive is Seattle Slew, and with the price it is now and the sire he's becoming, I think that he might not be, but he has a real good shot to be the best horse.
Well, he seems to perform on the track, and now his offspring are doing just like Daddy. Thank you for stopping by. It's always nice to meet a man who got rich at Keeneland and sold one for 2.5 big ones.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Eloise, you happen to be married to one of Lexington's finest veterinarians, and you're in the Lexington banking business also.
Correct.
How is business at the bank these days with all these horse prices going through the roof?
Business is booming. It is really very, very good. A lot of people come to Lexington from California and from New York also because those banks will not lend money in the horse industry. Lexington seems to be the focal point in the industry and also the banks.
Well, it's glad to hear that the money for the horses being sold in Lexington is coming from Lexington.
It's nice.
Talking of horses, who do you think should be the horse of the year this year?
I think the filly ought to do very well.
You like All Along?
I love All Along.
Well,
of course, I'm prejudiced. I'm a female. I think the females are due.
Well, if she beats the boys in the International today, I got the feeling she's going to get it also.
I think she'll do it. If not, I think Devil's Bag would be a close second.
Well, those are 2 nice horses. How about the greatest horse of all time?
Well, I think for the female point of view, Ruffian was the greatest, but you can't discount Secretariat. He was one of the best, or the best.
We've got Ruffian for the girls and Secretariat for the boys. Nice for you to stop by.
Thank you.
JT, Calumet is setting the world on fire with Aladar. He seems to be a stallion to end all stallions with 2 great fillies like that in his first crop. Are you guys looking for any other stallions these days?
Yeah, we're going to get a new stallion now, a horse named Highland Blade.
Well, he was pretty good in the Marlboro Cup. He put some big ones away.
Yeah, he'll be coming there for next year.
Just when Calumet seems to have the world on fire, here comes another good one.
Yeah, we'll own him with the Bancrofts. We'll still retain an interest, but we'll own along with the Penny Brand farm, you know.
Well, that's fabulous. Who do you see as horse of the year? It's a tight year. Actually, Highland Blade beat some of the candidates.
Well, he's a nice horse, but it's hard to say. This is a close year. A lot of nice horses.
Well, from where you are now at Calumet, they've had a lot of great horses over the years. Who do you think the greatest horse of all time is?
From what I know about them, they tell me that maybe General Duke's the best horse they ever had.
Well, that's a surprise. Why was he so good?
Well, he ran against Bowl Ruler and all those horses, and in '57 was one of the best crops that ever went to the races, and that's what the Joneses thought that, and Miss Markey and all of them, they always thought that was the best horse they had.
From the people that have had Triple Crown winners and so many great champions, General Duke, the greatest of all time. Bill, you have got one of the truly great hats in all of Kentucky going for you here.
Thank you.
Tell me, what do you look for when you're trying to buy a yearling?
You look for an athlete.
What does an athlete look like? What can you let us know?
It's a horse with balance, that has some presence about him, that moves well, has freedom of movement. Horse that, you know, is coordinated. Just one that looks like it's going to be faster than the others.
That's one that takes a trained eye to find. Bill, with all the horses running around now, who do you think should be Horse of the Year?
If All Along can win the D.C. International today, she's got to be the best.
Well, a lot of people think she's Horse of the World if she wins that today.
Yes.
With all the great horses that have been around, who do you think might have been the best of all time?
Well, probably surprise you. I'll say Spectacular Bid.
Wouldn't surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise the Meyerhoffs. Thank you a lot for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Online with Bob Fox at the Matchmaker sale.
I'm at the beautiful Hyatt Regency in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. This is the scene of the first Matchmaker sales. It's a fantastic idea put together by Johnny T.L. Jones III and Barry Weisbord. This catalog contains no guarantee services to some of the finest stallions in the world. They'll do some of this public auction, they'll do some of it sealed bid. It's a great idea, one that's sure to catch on, an idea whose time has come. Barry, this must be a special occasion. I don't often see you in a tuxedo. What's going on here tonight?
Well, we're having our first annual Matchmaker sale, and we have a huge turnout, and we're looking forward to a successful sale. Quite a few people have been talking about it, and hopefully we're going to show people that we can present a viable marketplace for no guarantee seasons where the principals can trade amongst the principals at a small commission.
It seems like a fair deal, and we wish you a lot of luck with it. You look handsome tonight. Go get him.
Thank you very much.
Joe, it's nice to see you here at the first Matchmaker sale. What do you think that Northern Dancer season will bring?
Well, Bob, obviously, we all know the Northern Dancer season will top the sale. I am reluctant to think of how much money that season could bring, but it certainly will be over $500,000.
Joe, what do you think of the idea of a no-guarantee season sale like this?
Well, that's one of the big risks of this business, is the no-guarantee part of buying seasons to stallions, obviously, but I think this is a novel idea that will go over very big in our industry.
Well, it seems like an idea whose time has come, and one thing for sure, we all came.
Yes.
Good
we'll
to see you.
Here.
Vin, it's good to see you here at the first Matchmaker sale.
It's nice to be here, Bob.
We know you got some big ones out at Mint Lane, including Foolish Pleasure. What do you think of this idea of the first Matchmaker sale?
I think it's a tremendous conception in the industry. Tremendous. It will allow for a lot of play in the upcoming sale this week at Kingland.
Well, it seems to be one sure way for someone to get a season even before they have the mare.
It not only seems one sure way for one to get a season, but it also helps to ensure one's price on a mare at the sale.
Yes, it does. I guess we'll know what these mares are really worth, because we'll know what it costs to breed to who they're in foal to.
That's correct.
Well, it's good to see you here, and hope you have a good time at this first big Matchmaker sale.
Well, thank you, Bob. It's good to be here. Take care.
Steve, I just lost 30 pounds. Now, tell me, what do you think of the first Matchmaker sale?
It's great. People are very enthusiastic. We have representation from all over.
You have the Don of Sucher here. You have other legal people. I mean, everybody's having a great time. Do you like the sale? Love the sale. I think it's a great idea. Really do. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Bob. You look wonderful. Lose another 30 pounds, Bob. Thanks. Hilmer, it's nice to see you at the first Matchmaker sale. What do you think of this sale?
Well, I think it's drew an awful big crowd, and looks like it's going to be a tremendous turnout and probably be something different than we've never experienced. But being a commercial breeder, as I am, I have never felt like paying up front money. So therefore, I would have to consider, say, a $100,000 stud fee. I would have to value it at about $70,000 is most I would be able to bid on it. And then I understand that you can get a 22% live foal, which would bring it up to 85. And your money is worth about 18 over a year and a half to 2 years, which brings it back up to the $100,000. So I will take $100,000, and then you take minus 30%. That leaves you your 70% that we were talking about bidding.
That's right. Uh-huh.
All right, then you plus it your 22% for your live foal. That brings it up to $85,400, and your money should be worth over that time. Say you could put it in anything and get 9%. So we'll say for 2 years is about what this is going to do. Plus 18 for 2 years. Percentage brings you back to $100,772. So when you look at it that way, that's about the way it works out.
I'll tell you something. Someone would be crazy to come here without a calculator like that. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the inaugural Matchmaker Marketing Limited sale of stallion seasons. They, of course, hope that you will find this first large deal auction of stallion seasons a successful venture for consigners and sellers alike. And all right, there we go. The first one to sell. What's your pleasure? Who's start the bidding? Anybody get 50,000? Anybody get 50? 50, anybody get 50, anybody get 50, anybody get 50? 50, anybody get 25. 25, even now 25, make it 30. 25, anybody get 30, anybody get 30, anybody get 30, anybody get 30, 35. 30 over here, 35. 30, 35, 40, 45, 45, 50. 45, 55, 55, 5, what do you do? 50, anybody now 5, 60. 65, 65. 60, anybody, anybody, 60, 65. 60, anybody now 5, anybody get 5, anybody get 5, anybody get 5, anybody get 5, 70, thank you. 5 now, 70, anybody get 70, anybody get 70. 65 now, 70, anybody get 70, anybody get 70, anybody get 70, what do you do? 65, 70, I hear from Tommy. 72, 75. At 72, Tommy, you're out. 75. At 72, 75. At 72, unit of the bomb, unit of the bomb, unit of the bomb, unit of the bomb, 72, 75. At 72, 75. At 72, 75, all done. At 72, 75, 75, and where is 72 done? And here we go. At 72 done, we're going to sell it. 72, 75, 70. Sold to Dale's man at 72,000. Thank you, Chris. 72,000.
It's a matter of time before he retires his 100 stakes winner. The leading sire of both England and North America. The list of the top stakes winners and champions sire by Northern Dancer is like a who's who of thoroughbred racing. The Jinsky, the Minstrel, Northern Dancer, Jubilee, Transproduce, Sire Lawrence Dancer, One for All, Stormbird, Try by Venice, Maria, Sharif Dancer, of course, syndicated $1 million to spare. Northern Dancer in 1983 sired 16 stakes winners, 20 stakes horses. This is a 1984
Murray, the way this sale was tonight, Seasons brought almost anything without guarantee. You have a horse called Tanks Brigade that's a gelding. What do you think you might get for a no-guarantee season to Tanks?
Exactly that. No.
You'd get no Tanks.
No Tanks.
Good for you. Glad you stopped by, Murray. It's good to see you.
Okay, yeah.
Barry, I sat here all night. This sale looked like a smash.
Well, I was trying to buy something myself, and I hardly could raise my hand. I think tonight we showed that not only could the more expensive seasons be sold no guarantee, which we all understood, but the inexpensive seasons, people were happy at buying at a discount at no guarantee. And I think most importantly, when they walked in the place knowing if they spent the most money, they could walk out with the season, no questions asked.
That was a great idea. I saw people here figuring and calculating what season should cost and will cost. It just seems like a great idea and something with a big future.
Well, I think we only had about 5 buybacks out of the 60 seasons sold, which is something that we would probably anticipate for the first time, but all the expensive seasons sold, and actually most of the inexpensive also. If you had to say anything special, I would say the inexpensive seasons probably brought more than a lot of people thought.
Some of them seem to be more expensive, no guarantee, than they were live foal.
Well, I think the main thing was that maybe new people, maybe even old people, could walk in, and if they were the last bidder, just like they would buy a yearling or a mare, if they were the last bidder, they could walk out with the season, and I think people were happy buying that with that type of confidence.
Well, the best part about it, beside all the good selling, you were able to get a drink on Sunday in Lexington.